for rent or buy to resell. So those are the basics for now.
Buy to resell. Oh, thank you, sir. Buying to reinvest later, buying to resell, buying to build. Okay, so I know that a lot of people say that real estate is the gold standard of investment. In fact, in Abuja, it's beginning to seem that everybody is a real estate agent. And we want to get the gist, we want to get the catch, we want to know the reason why it's seeming, is there something, was there an announcement made? We want to understand why this real estate is the next big thing. So we are going to be exploring that. What are some of the biggest advantages of investing in real estate compared to other investment, opportunities or portfolios in Nigeria?
Okay, I usually tell people that I have the opportunity to speak to that the reason why they call it real estate is because of the word real that is there. For me, I don't know any other investment that is as real as real estate. Not because I'm into real estate, but because your investment is something that is tangible. You can hold it.
Yeah,
you can say, this is what I've invested in. I'm not against anybody who is into stock or any form of schemes that says bring your money, we'll double it in 2 months, we'll double it in 6 months. But one thing that is sure and real is real estate. So it has that advantage over every other form of investment. If you are buying the land, except you fall into a wrong hand. If you are buying a land and you have done all your due diligence and you can say, okay, this is my land. You can hold it, you can go there, you can stand on your land. There's a particular quote that says, real estate is the only real thing that you can stand on. You can't stand on any other thing apart from the land that you own. So that's the difference between real estate and others.
Well, the fact that it is real, it is tangible. I actually like that. Okay, so but why is real estate often referred to as, okay, you even addressed that already. I was going to ask why real estate is referred to as tangible, but you already addressed that. You talked about it being something that one can touch. You talked about it being something that one can see. Okay, can you speak on how rental income or passive income from property contributes to long-term financial security? You mentioned earlier that some of the reasons why people purchase, real estate is so that they can rent or they can resell. Let's talk a little bit about why or how rental income or passive income gotten from these properties can contribute to long-term financial security.
Okay, if you have a property, for example, and a house, and you're renting it out, it's more likely that if you rent it out for maybe 3 million this year,
yes,
and maybe you are preparing for, you're just investing as against your retirement. Maybe your retirement is in the next 20 years.
Yeah.
You can imagine what the rent will be in 20 years.
That's correct.
Because I remember when I came to Abuja, some years back, about 18 years or more, I know how much my first rent was. And I know how much it is
now
in that area.
Yeah.
So you can imagine somebody who was preparing for retirement 18 years ago and got a property, and the property was probably 300,000 rent as at that time.
Yeah.
Then imagine the number of years he had earned, rent. And then maybe after 3 years or 4 years or 5 years, there's a significant increment in the rental value.
Yeah.
So it's a kind of financial security. Apart from earning all these monies over the years, if you still put it out in the market, you're going to sell it for maybe 10 times the value that you bought it. So
that makes sense. And the funny thing that a lot of people do not, or I think the funny thing that a lot of people do not pay attention to is how fast the years go by. Sometimes,
Exactly.
sometimes people think that, we're saying 20 years now. And some people may be looking at it and saying, 20 years, that's a long time. But 20 years isn't a long time. A lot of us can remember when we were kids. Exactly. A lot of us can remember when we were babies. And, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, it ran by so quickly. And so it makes sense to, invest and plan for the next 20 years because I mean, in the twinkle of an eye, 20 years will just catch up with you.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's talk about tax benefits. Are there any tax benefit or legal incentives for real estate investors in Nigeria?
Well, what I can say about tax benefits, we don't have a working system as such, that can address, the tax benefits on real estate. And, there are a lot of irregularities. But the only thing I can tell you is that real estate investment is safe. And when you're talking about maybe property tax,
Yes.
yes, you can get some benefits,
Okay.
but it's not really pronounced in Nigeria.
Okay. Okay. Let's talk about the other side. We've talked a bit about the advantages. We've had guests come on the show to talk about the advantages of real estate. The real estate adverts out there. It seems like the only thing that people talk about are the advantages. You remember when I was introducing this session, I said I wanted people to be able to make informed decisions. I want people to be able to weigh the pros and the cons. And that means we have to present them with some of the risks that are involved. So I would like us to, just speak a bit about the risk. What are some of the common risks or downside of real estate investment? I know that our audience would really like to, the response to this question is something that I know that they are anticipating. So let's talk about some of those risks. What are some of the risks that people may encounter when they invest in real estate? What are the downsides of real estate investments, especially in Nigeria? Yeah.
Well, real estate investment is generally safe
Okay.
only when you're buying from the right party.
Okay.
And the two parties have a role to play, and that's very important. We've had cases of different people saying, "Oh, I got scammed by this person. I got scammed by the other person." And in recent times, we have heard a lot of them. As a matter of fact, last night I was still going through something on Facebook, and it's very disheartening. But at the same time, in as much as you blame these players, you also blame the other party who is buying.
Okay.
Because the person who is buying also have a role to play. You need to conduct your due diligence. If you don't have somebody who can do, you should get a lawyer to be able to do due diligence for you.
Okay.
Go to the appropriate authority, confirm this, because real estate is a good investment, but a lot of bad eggs are now into it.
That's correct.
Like every corner of the street, you see people now selling land, selling property as if it's tomatoes and pepper. So I'm not speaking for myself. I'm just saying the best thing to do is to make sure, in order to eliminate any risk, do your due diligence very well on the company you are buying from and on the title.
Okay.
Because in Abuja, for example, land is owned by the government. And any land that you're going to invest in or any property you're going to invest in, there's the appropriate authority. In Abuja is the FCDA, the Departments of Land or AGs. You go there, do your verification. So the reason why real estate investment is different from others, like these Ponzi schemes and others, is because, like I said earlier, it's real.
Yes.
But at the same time, are you sure what you are buying is real? Are you really buying the real thing, or you are buying just paper? So for you to be able to be sure of what you are buying, due diligence is the ultimate.
Thank you so much, sir, for this. And this is so timely because for every single session that we have had guests talk about due diligence. I was going to ask you earlier to please double down on, this concept of due diligence. What should they do? But you have also mentioned that. But just to take that up a notch before we come back to the risk. When people are trying to verify the properties, you mentioned that they can go to bodies like AGs. When they are trying to verify the companies now, where do they go to? The same AGs? How do they verify the companies? that put forth these real estate investment opportunities?
Okay. Let me give you an example. I'm not trying to market myself, but there was a time I had a client who came all the way from the US and, said he wanted something. And in the course of discussion, he asked me to send him all the details of the land, the title documents and all that. And he sent his lawyer. They got the search report from Aegis. And he now said, there's one more thing. So when he called me, he said, oh, I'm done with all the search, but there's one more thing. I'll tell you when we'll see. Okay. And then he came to my office like a week after. I said, I've concluded my investigation. I said, what investigation? I said, I did my due diligence on you as a person and then your company as an entity. Now, what does that mean? Before you begin to deal with somebody, does that person have a track record?
Yeah.
Does that person have a physical project that he had executed?
Valid, I like that.
In the past.
Physical projects that you have executed.
Now, I'm not saying we cannot have newcomers into the business. You understand? If you are having a newcomer, coming into the business, we experienced that when we relocated to, when we had our office in Lagos. That was 5 years ago. We didn't have any project to show in Lagos, but we had projects in Abuja that people are already living in, that is fully occupied. And we have testimonies. That's what we used. And then later we started having project, okay, we've completed this one, is now occupied and all. So you need to ask questions. This person I'm dealing with, is it credible? You can ask people questions. The internet is now, the social media is now, it's not what anybody can run away from.
No gatekeeping.
Exactly, it's now a global village.
Yes.
If you are lying, before you know it, somebody's already, you need to ask these questions. In as much as you have done your due diligence, you now ask the character of the person or the character of the promoters of the company. Are they people who are welcoming, even if there's a problem? Are they willing to solve it? Are they willing to provide solutions?
Are they willing to respond or answer your questions?
Exactly. Yeah. Are they people you can even access? Because there are a lot of people you can't even access them.
Just be talking to them over the phone.
You can't even reach them on phone.
Can you imagine?
You understand? So, that's the next thing you should do. You should look at the credibility of, the company and the promoters.
Thank you so much, sir. This is really insightful, educative, informative. I love this. We are going to allow our callers to be able to call in, like we always do. If you want to call in to ask questions, to contribute to the show, the number to reach us on is 081 30 60 8527. I would repeat, 081 30 60 8527. So you can call us, ask your questions, or contribute to the segment. We're talking about the risk of real estate investment, and let's talk about one more risk or something that relates to risk before we just take a short break. What challenges should first-time investors expect when it comes to land verification, legal documentation, or dealing with agents? What should first-time investors expect? I want to buy property for the first time. What should I expect when it comes to land verification? I know nothing. I know nothing about the documents. I know nothing about, we've talked about do your due diligence, like maybe possibly a roadmap that one can follow. We've had, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago where we had a session. I was telling the guests that we have a lot of young people who are making money for themselves right now and, are trying to invest appropriately or are trying to invest responsibly. And we have this super young person, and the person does not know their left from their right yet. So what should they expect? But before we take that response, we have a call. Let's take this call. Hi, good morning. Your name and where you are calling us from. Please stay away from your radio set.
My name is Jane. I'm sorry, from Abuja.
Jane from Abuja. It's nice to have you. Your question or contribution, please. Hi, Jane.
I'm from Abuja. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, I heard that. Your question or contribution, please?
Yes, my question is, are their properties affordable?
Oh, you mean leisure courts? Are their properties
Yes.
affordable?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, you can still call back after the show, but I'm going to allow him to respond to that. So just hang in there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I like that laugh. Can I ask why you laugh? Sir, before you answer the question,
Okay.
the reason I feel like one of the reasons why you let me not put words into your mouth, but we had someone who we asked, are their properties affordable, and they responded to with a laugh. So I don't know if it is a real estate thing. I don't know if you guys have like a secret code.
No, not at all.
Okay, so why the laugh?
Why I laughed is that affordability is relative.
Same thing he said.
What is affordable for me maybe
Not
a
yeah,
nightmare for another person.
That's correct.
But generally, if you're looking at our own properties, they are not. You don't have to have a deep pocket to be
Okay.
able to afford them. So generally, they are affordable.
Okay. I'm going to allow Jane call in after the session to get insight as to the specific prices of the property. So you can call us on the same line immediately after our segment. We want to take a short break, but not the kind of break where we go. Let's take this call before we go on that break. I think I can see a call. Hi, good afternoon. Your name and where you're calling.
Oh, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, my name is Emmanuel, coming from Abuja.
Emmanuel from Abuja. Nice to have you. Your question or your contribution, please.
I would like to ask, I would like to ask a question.
Please go ahead.
Why is the real estate, why is it that the real estate sector, how affordable is real estate in Abuja? Because it seems like, and then how do we know to how to verify the proper documents given to us by the real estate company?
Okay. I think he addressed that, but I'll allow him touch on that a bit before we go on our break. So just hang in there. Yeah, thank you. Okay.
Okay. Like I said earlier, for you to verify whichever document any real estate promoter is presenting to you, there are appropriate authorities, the Department of Land Administration, AGs, and FCDA.
Yeah.
Those are the bodies responsible. So if you don't have a lawyer, you should get one. Probably you put it into writing or whatever.
Okay.
That's where you do your verification.
Aegis.
Yes.
Go to Aegis to do your verification. Okay, so let's just take a little break. This segment is called Property Alert by WORIN Nigeria, and it is where we let you know some of the properties that we have available. To access these properties or to gain more insights or information about these properties, you can also call the number I called earlier after the show. I would still repeat the number, but here are some of the properties that we have available. We have Kuje Property Alert. The first on our list is a 40 units of 4-bedroom terrace duplex. Payment plan available in a choice and strategic location in Kuje. So if Kuje is a place that you really love or that you anticipate having property at, reach out to us on the number I called earlier or I'll be calling after this. The second property we have there at Kuje is a fenced plot measuring about 1,200 square meter with FCDA R of O. A fenced plot measuring about 1,200 square meter with FCDA R of O. Now, Airport Road Property Alert. The first I mentioned was Kuje Property Alert. Now, Airport Road Property Alert. Aviation Village, that's the first on our list. Close to the airport, we have various sizes of land ranging from 150 square meter to 600 square meter with title document C of O. Aviation Village, close to the airport, various sizes of land ranging from 150 square meter to 600 square meter with title document C of O. The second on our list along the airport road is 5-unit, 4-bedroom, fully detached duplex going up for sale, seated on about 450 square meter plot of land. This property is just at Sabun Lugbe layout, opposite Glory Dome, Dunamis Church. If you don't know anywhere on the Lugbe axis or the Airport Road axis, at least you know Dunamis Church. So this property is seated just close to that. Again, it's a 5-unit, 4-bedroom, fully detached duplex going for sale, seated on about 450 square meter plots of land. And it is just at Sabon Lugbe layout, opposite Glory Dome, Dunamis Church. The third on our list is a 6-unit of 4-bedroom terrace duplex opposite River Park Estate, close to NUT office, and many more vetted properties around the Airport Road axis. I would call the last on that list again, 6 units of 4-bedroom terrace duplex opposite River Park Estate, close to NUT office, and many more vetted properties. Now let's go to Idu. The first on our list on Idu is a 4-hectare of land with title document FCDA R of O. 4 hectares of land with title FCDA R of O. The second is plots of land ranging from 150 square meters to 600 square meters with title documents and FCDA R of O. So the number to reach us on is 081 3060 8527. If you have questions about the properties, please reach out to us after the show. We're talking about the risk of real estate investment, and Mr. Shegun Abolaji has done justice, a lot of justice. However, we still have more questions. And one of the questions I have is, real estate isn't exactly quick cash game. Like he mentioned earlier, he talked about how you plan on investing over a period of, say, 20 years, 10 years, 15 years, and, you plug into real estate. So can you talk to us about the liquidity and what investors should know before committing? Some people want to invest. They are thinking, oh, I just want to buy so that I can resell later. Let's touch a bit about liquidity. How easy is it to resell? Is it difficult to resell? What should they bear in mind?
Okay, thank you. On this issue, you have to be careful.
Okay.
And that's why you need an expert's opinion sometimes before you go into it. Typically, any real estate promoter will just tell you, come and buy.
That's correct.
They don't tell you what's in it. I've had situations where people say, oh, I bought this property when I had money. Now I'm in need.
I want to sell.
I want to sell, and it's difficult to sell. That's where you now start hearing the word distress sale. Distress will now come. It means that person is distressed at that point. What it means is that there's no proper guidance before going into it. If you want to invest for a short term, there are properties that you can buy that are easy to flip.
Okay.
But if you are buying take for example, you go buy a property in maybe Gwagwalada, maybe not on the road, somewhere inside Gwagwalada or Kuali or Abaji.
Yeah.
And you say, oh, I'm just buying it, so when I need money in the next 6 months, I'll just flip it. If you are going to flip it, I can promise you that you probably flip it for half of the price you bought it.
Yeah, because of the location, right?
Because of the location.
Yeah.
So if you get a prime location, you can easily, people are looking for it.
Even before you have put
Do
it
you
out there for
understand?
sale.
People are already looking for it. So you need expert opinions sometimes before, so that you'll be able to know what form of investment you're doing and, how to go about it.
Okay.
Because sometimes it's not easy to just liquidate your property.
Yeah.
You may stay there for 6 months, 1 year, even 2 years, and you're not getting somebody to buy.
Okay, we have another caller. Let's take this call quickly. Hi, good afternoon. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Yeah, my name is Mrs. Shelley.
Mrs. Shali, did I get that correctly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Shelley.
Shadi, your question or contribution, please.
Okay, I want to ask about the payment plan and if they have any property on maybe land banking or kiddies investment.
Kiddies investments. So
Yes,
that's
and I must say, Major Concert CEO, well done. You've really been doing well in the society. Like,
Thank you.
I'm based in Abuja, and I've seen few of his property well developed, and especially the one in Lube. Nice, so please keep it up, and you need to keep encouraging us so that we won't stop buying from you. Please,
Thank you.
my question needs to be answered. Sorry. I
okay.
need to know the payment plan and kiddies investment or probably land bank.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Shadi. Please hang in there.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks for calling. So to the payment plan, you'd have to call us after the show, after the session. And I called the number earlier. The number to call us on is this number that you called, and would be able to give you all the payment plan from Leisure Court. We our time is well fast spent already, or we've spent a lot of time already, and I'm sure they have a ton of payment plan that if we allow that right now, we may not be able to wrap up the session. So, but I'll allow him touch on the second question. Do you have anything for, she mentioned about kiddies plan or something like that? Do you Leisure Court, do you have anything like that?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
We have kiddies estate.
Okay.
Like I said earlier, there are some investment that are long term.
Yeah.
Some others are short.
Yeah.
So we have some properties that are not in town yet, but over time,
Yeah.
development will get there. So we have something in Kwali, we have in Gwagwalada, and we have a payment plan for it.
Okay.
So they now fall in the category of long-term investment. So
Yeah.
they are not the ones that you want to flip
Flip
over
immediately.
in the next 6 months and
Yeah.
then you get your money back.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Shade, I hope that answers your question to an extent, but you can still call us after this show. Let's take this call quickly. Hi, good afternoon. Your name and where you're calling us from.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, please. Your name and where you're calling us from.
My name is coming from Abuja.
Okay, please, your question or contribution.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I can't.
Yes, your infrastructure in state. What is the
So,
of your management on infrastructure in Abuja?
sorry, you have to call us back. We didn't get that question. Your question again.
Yes, I said the infrastructure in the real estate, especially that of the leisure,
Okay.
and what is expected of leisure cost as a management on the infrastructure of space of land that they have. What do they give as infrastructure?
Oh,
That is what I want.
okay. Engineer Shegun, I'm calling you an engineer now.
I'm a
I've
builder,
called
I'm
you a
not an
builder, I've
engineer.
called you an engineer, I've called you a mister, so many things. Okay. Builder Shegun. Do you want to respond to that?
Yeah, well, if you talk about infrastructure, it depends on which of our estates you're
Okay.
talking about. There are some of them that infrastructure comprises the road, the paved road, drainages, perimeter fencing, electrification, and water. There are some of them that will say, okay, we're going to leave water out so that you be able to do
Provide
your
yourself.
borehole
Okay.
yourself. So it depends on which of the estate. There are some of our estate that we have. We are currently doing, general water works for them.
Okay.
So, and there are some others. So it depends on which estate.
Okay.
But generally, infrastructure are those things that make life easier.
Yeah. the basic
At
amenities.
least you can drive through to your house. You have your perimeter fence secure, and you have electricity. Those are the basics.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Our time is fast spent. I'd like us to just move on with some of our questions. And one question that is on my mind is, what mistakes have you seen people make when investing in real estate? And how can they avoid them? In your experience over all these years, what are some of the specific mistakes that you have seen people make? I believe that our audience will be able to relate to some of these mistakes and you can help them avoid these mistakes.
Okay. one of the mistakes you make when investing in real estate is when you don't verify what you are buying.
Okay, yeah, you said that earlier.
I said that already
Yeah.
because I've heard people say, "Oh, I was duped, I was swindled." Did you do your due diligence? Did you find out what you are buying? And another thing is location.
Okay.
Location matters a lot. You can buy a property now, and somebody may even tell you, they may market it to you with all sort of sweet words like, "Oh, don't worry, in the next 6 months everywhere will be developed," and all that. Did you also do some findings to know, is government going towards that direction? You know, is there any government project that's coming around that place? Are there infrastructural plan
That
for
makes
that
sense.
place in the nearest future, so that you don't buy and 10 years after,
Nothing's happening there.
you understand, the value is still, the way it was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I made such mistakes
Oh.
in my earlier, times in my career. I bought some land somewhere inside Ikorodu. If you know Ikorodu in Lagos,
Yeah.
there's one village after Ikorodu. Up till now,
Wow.
nothing is happening there. As a matter of fact, I had to dash out
You dashed out the land.
the land because it's almost valueless.
I get you.
So since then, I've learned that, okay, before I buy any property, you look at what is the government. I mean, there's a saying that know where people are going and buy the land before they get there. Where are people tending towards now?
Yes.
Where are people moving to? What is government's plan for that area and all that? And
Okay.
then, that's all.
Just to double down on this response, I know it was like we baited our audience, but let's just give them a little bit of, let's satisfy their cravings a bit. In your own experience and in your knowledge within the city of Abuja, where are some of the places that you think that people are tending towards in Abuja? You can just mention some of those places so that they would know.
Well, I think I want to be very careful in mentioning
I understand.
places, but generally,
Yeah.
if you look at the way Abuja is going, with the advent of this new administration,
Yes.
minister opening up different districts.
Yes.
So I don't think there's any district that is not good for investment.
Okay.
But there are certain places that you can, buyers can know that, okay, if you are going maybe towards Lokoja, for example,
Yeah.
and they say the land is still part of Abuja, but it's sharing boundary with Kogi
Yeah.
State, you know that before development will get to that kind of place, it may take a longer time.
Yeah.
So every other place, I think, is not bad.
You're correct.
Generally, because new districts are being opened up. If I say this place is not good today,
You never
and
can
the FCT minister
changes
changes plan, decide to open up that district, and then you say,
They'll start looking for
yeah, this guy came on radio and said we should not invest in this place,
Okay.
But generally, Abuja is a very viable place for good investment.
I tried to set you up, but you evaded the setup. Thank you so much, sir. The number to call us on after this segment or after the show is 081 30 60 8527. This has been such an insightful session. I mean, this is the first time we're having one of our audience call to say, "Oh, continue that thing that you've been doing. Continue that thing that you've been doing." So it means Leisure Court has been doing amazing. We appreciate you for coming. We want to let you know, ladies and gentlemen, that real estate, like we have always advocated, is the big thing. We want to say a big thank you to our guest builder, Shegun Abolaji. Thank you so much of Leisure Court Limited. Thank you so
pleasure.
much for having us. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation. If you missed any part of this conversation, you can always catch up with this conversation on our Facebook page. We are at WORIN Nigeria on all social media platforms. And like we always say, conversations continue offline. If you have any more questions, drop them in the comment section, shoot us a DM, call us, and we'll respond to your question. Remember, till we'll come again next time, next week, Monday. This is WORIN Nigeria, bringing you property talk. Stay informed, invest wisely, and take action. See you.